As to the origin of karma, there is that important question. Should a person reach the consequences of his karma in the same way as he performed the karma? In this connection, the Buddha says, want to declare that just as his man does a deed, so does he experience. This being so, the living or reaches light whole be return run meaningless, for there whole be no opportunity for the complete distraction or suffering. Yes, if one were to say, just as this man performed a deed or which the consequence is to be experienced, so does he experience its consequences. This made the religious life meaningful, and there will be an opportunity for the complete expression of suffering. The above explanation by the Buddha clearly demonstrates that there is no magical one-to-one correspondence between karma and its consequences. If, for instance, a person kills someone, it is not the cause that he too will be killed as a consequence of his karma. From the Buddhist perspective, the consequence of karma is certainly not tit for tat, an eye for an eye. The Buddha's teaching on karma has nothing to do with reverence to justice. What we find in Buddhism is not karma determination, but karma conditionality. There is another question that concerns the operation of karma. Should one experience the repent for all previously committed bad karma, as it records is one Buddhist discourse, the Apanya or Nikanda Natapodan on his matter is as follows. Anyone at all who, for instance, destroys life or take what is not given is bound for a state of mastery, bound for head. The Buddha's position on this matter is quite different. If, for instance, a person commits such evil deeds as killing and taking what is not given, he should reflect like this. In many ways, the Buddha criticized and censured such evil acts as destruction or lies and taking what is not given. However, now I have destroyed lies to suggest and such extent. This was not proper, this was not good, yet my feeling of regard and duty cannot undo the evil I have done. Having realized that he abandoned the destruction or lies and he abstained from the destruction or lies in the future. He abandoned all other pockets and bodily evil acts. Having abandoned wrong view, now he is one or right view. That's noble discipline who is thus devout or compassionate, devout or all evils, and confused, clearly comprehending, ever mindful, prayerful, repeated one chorus which is my effort with loving kindness. Likewise, the second chorus, the third chorus, and the fourth chorus that support and belong across and everywhere, and to all as to himself he wrote, revealing the atheist word which is mine influence with loving kindness, which extend martial with hostility without evil. He does so in response to the other three immediate souls, namely kindness, authority, joy, and equanimity. Then, as a result of the immediate source, apana composition less immediately kindness, immediately authority, joy, and immediate equality, the minister Kamas Prana Katha that was commenced earlier does not remain anymore. That's not basis anymore. According to the Buddhist teaching on karma, one does not have to accept the source effect of karma, which is not resignation and submission. As we have known in the course of this chapter, the Buddha enforced not only moralized karma vara, but the efficacy of human effort, vidya vara, as well. From the Buddhist perspective, nobody is accountable, everybody is capable of reform and rehabilitable. The best evidence for this comes from the story of Angulimala. He has been a serial killer, yet despite this, in this life he said he was afraid to become an emperor. There are two facts that need emphasized here. The fact is that Buddhist teachers cannot determination. The theory that our present behavior is completely determined by past karma. The second fact is that we do not have to experience reincarnation for all previously committed karma. Our present karma is sufficiently powerful, can network the possible the sort of past deeds. The first gives us certain tendency and latest it is for us to function than how we were. The Buddhist doctrine of karma has nothing to do with predestination, that which we have done in the past and in the past has made us what we are now, that which we are in the process of doing now. That day, this minute is making what we shall be in the future. In the future will be a process of becoming largely what we make it. It is always being shaped, but never finished. There is no evidence of it being determined entirely or that, but we do know that we largely determine it by our own act. There is no future, even as regards tomorrow, but only possible future which depends largely on our present thoughts and throughout an action, just as we have been making ourselves in all our previous lives. So now it's lying what us to determine our future. There is no good that can stop our doing so. G.P. Melestakada. The issue of one's own good and other good. One problem closely connected with the subject of moral evaluation in Buddhism is how this evaluation addresses that problem concerning the relative position of one's own goods and the goods of others. Buddhism approaches this issue from many perspectives, though the basic idea underlying them all can be seen from the following two statements of the Buddha. Here, a certain person is one who abstains from taking life, from stealing, and so forth. This one is called the worthy one. The worthy one. Yet, a certain person not only has to abstain from taking life and so forth, but also encourages another to abstain from so doing. This one is called the still more worthy one. Worthy one. Here, a certain person is behavior, modest, concentration, or white learning, or urgent agency, energy, or good memories and strong in wisdom. This one is called the worthy one. Here, a certain person is possessed or faith and encourage another to possess faith. Is himself modest and encourage another to be modest. Is himself concentration and encourage another to be so. Is himself widely learned or ardent interest. energy. Asserted mindfulness, strong in wisdom, and encourage another to be the same. This one is called the stay more worthy one. What the above two statements amount to is one who pursues one's own moral course is morally good, but one who pursues one's own moral course as well as others' moral course is morally better. There is, however, another important aspect that has to be noted here. It comes into focus from a Buddhist classification of individuals into four groups as follows. The individual who pursues neither his own well-being nor other well-being. The individual who pursues other well-being but not his own well-being. The individual who pursues his own well-being but no others' well-being. The individual who pursues his own well-being as well as others' well-being. The four individuals are mentioned here according to an ascending aura of excellence. Such as the first individual is the war, while the fourth is the best. It is therefore clear why this is so. What is interesting, however, is why the third individual who pursues his own well-being without pursuing other well-being is better than the second individual who pursues other well-being without pursuing his own well-being. If we are to understand this situation correctly in its proper context, it is obvious or much important that we clarify first what the thing well-being it means in the affirmation focus strategy. At first glance, the thing seems to me well-being based on such a external factor as material or economic conditions. Any such understanding could easily lead to an conclusion that is just the opposite of what is intended. For it must be clearly noted here that in the early Buddhist discourses, the duty one's own well-being atahita and other well-being parahita are always used in a advocate context to mean one's own moral well-being and other moral well-being respectively. Then the question that arises next is why the pursuit of one's own moral well-being is considered more important than the pursuit of other moral well-being. The answer to this question is focused found in the following work of the Buddha's Chongda as an illustration of this situation. It's not possible. Chongda, for one who is sits in the mud or food or another who is also in the mud. But it is possible for one who is not sit in the mud to follow another who is in the mud. Similarly, it is possible down for one who is instead not term nor discipline who different not attention to teach discipline others and have extinguished his department. This illustration draws our attention to two equally important points. The first of which is that one who is still in the mud or moral depravity cannot serve another who is in the same predicament. The second of which is that one who has pursued one's own moral well-being is in a sure position to help others to pursue their own moral well-being. We find this situation is refined in this light of the Buddha himself. It is after realizing his own moral perfection that the Buddha begins his mission for the moral uplift of others. Being his enlightenment, the Buddha teach the Dharma for the other enlightenment. Being his then he teach the Dharma for others to be them. Being his at peace, he teach the Dharma for others to be at peace. Having himself a crossover, he teach the Dharma for others to cross over. Having himself attained Nirvana, he teach the Dharma for others to attain Nirvana. It is also exemplified in the light of the Buddha's early discipline as well. Find then records in the early Buddhist texts. It is best illustrated in the Buddhist admonition to the passivity Arahant to go forth and preach the Dhamma for the benefit, well-being, and happiness of the many. The conclusion ought to be drawn is that one who has realized one's own highest moral well-being, rather than remaining identified in defilement to others, addressing instead to the act or promoting other moral well-being. From these observations, we can come to an important conclusion as to why the individual who pursues only his own moral well-being is held higher than the individual who pursues only one other moral well-being. The reason for this is not that other moral well-being is less important than our own, or that our moral well-being is more important than others. Indeed, the hierarchy of person only means that we should give property to our own moral well-being so that we will be in a position to help others. We pursue our own moral well-being path. This could be considered not as a cause of helping others but as a cause of preparing ourselves to help others. What is taken into consideration here is not whose moral well-being is more important, but whose moral well-being should get property. On the other hand, an individual who pursues others' moral well-being without pursuing his own moral well-being is like one who seeks to reform the world without reforming himself. He is only assuming that role of survey such as person can easily succumb to fitness or moral superiority and the illusion or moral characteristic. He will certainly have many Ramayana but not true followers. In the connection, it is also important to remember that the method of moral cultivation are reciprocal. When we elements from our own mind, such as emotion, mental disposition, as praise and hatred, we define elements the possibility of then external manifestation in relation to others. In the same way, when we develop within ourselves such as wholesome moral quality as generosity and compassion, lest we in turn assure that possibility of our or then external manifestation in relation to others. If moral cultivation has an individual as well as social dimension in activity, when it comes to the practice of the moral life, the very distinction between our own goods and the goods of others tend to be oblivion. We find this situation beautifully expressed in the following word of the Buddha: man, one who takes care of oneself, take care of others. One who takes care of others, take care of oneself. How man it is that one who takes care of oneself, take care of others. It is by moral training, moral culture, and moral development. And how man it is one who takes care of others, take care of oneself, It is by forbearance, by harmonious, and by goodwill, and by compassion. Illustrating this situation, the Buddha recalled. One is the first and across set at his bamboo pole and set to his appearance. Take the bamboo falls and stand on my shoulder. When the appearance did so, the report said, you protect me, and I will protect you. This current by one another. We were displaced our skills, collect our peace, and got drawn safety from the bamboo pole. Then the appearance said, that's not way to do that. The teacher, you protect yourself, teacher, and I will protect myself. That is that current and self-protest where we display our skill, collect our peace, and got drawn safety from the bamboo pole. As for this suggestion made by some that the early Buddhist idea of hierarchy is individualist and self-centered, all this need to be said here is that it is by uprooting all risk of individualism and certainty that one becomes an errata. How then can it be said that the idea is hierarchy is individualist and self-centered? The very certainty amounts to a self-confession. The role of knowledge and awareness in the practice or moral life. Another important aspect that concerns the Buddhist teaching on moral life is the role of knowledge and awareness in moral context. All moral classification in Buddhism views should be based on knowledge and should be constantly accompanied by awareness, just as one which hand or foot which foot. So, run the illustration, both knowledge and context should help each other. A person who is cultivating moral quality should be fully aware of what he is doing and the different level of moral purification that he has attained to. A person who is morally perfect, if he is not aware of his moral perfection, is not morally perfect. Such a situation may sound rather propitious to us such as the case from the Buddhist perspective. We find this situation very well illustrated in this Buddhist response to the idea of moral perfection as those by Okamura as religious teachers during the time of the Buddha. In this view, a person is repulsed in which is unwholesome when he does not do an evil act with his body, speaks no evil speech, intend no evil intention, lead no evil livelihood. Apparently, this is how the Buddha himself teaches moral perfection. Or to say, the Buddha found it necessary to make the following observation. If that was so, then the intended impulse lying from in accomplish is with its wholesome. For a young tenant, impulse lying process does not even have the notion body, so how should he do an evil bodily action beyond merely wanting? He does not even have the notion speech, so how should he utter evil speech beyond mere wanting? He does not even have that notion intention, so how does he have evil intention beyond mere scheming? He does not even have that notion livelihood, so how should he make his living by evil livelihood beyond being disgraced as his mother's breast? As the above question shows, the nature innocent or a baby boy cannot be equated with moral evolution. It is based on super ignorance and it is not accompanied by awareness. Nor it is consciously and deliberately cultivated. To give an example, as we all know, elephant and some other animals in the wind forest are vegetarian. Yet, surely it is not a protection that virtue or vegetarianism that they have become so. Then physical construction is such that they had to be vegetarian. Or and entirely different. Kindness is the moral cultivation and moral progression the Buddhism speaks of. It had it had to be grounded on knowledge accompanied by knowledge and should accumulate together with knowledge, just as a man should run the illustration whose hands and feet are cut off. Know that his hands and feet are cut off. Even so, one who is morally perfect, whether he is walking or standing still or asleep or waking, in his there is constant and preference present or knowledge to them after that all mental defilements are destroyed by him. We find this same idea expressed in a classification or individual into four groups. The first individual has a blemish, but he does not know. I have a blemish in myself. The second person also has a blemish, but he knows. I have a blemish in myself. Blemish. Between them, the second is better than the first. The third individual has two blemishes, but he does not know. I have no blemish in myself. The fourth individual has no blemish and he knows. I have no blemish in myself. Yes, the fourth individual is better than the third. It is not assumed by the Buddhist theory or moralized that either the sense origin or the sense objects are in themselves an obstacle to mental culture. It two organs, one white and the other black, so run the illustration, are framed by a yoke. It is not required to say that the black earth is a bone for the white earth, or that the white earth is a bone for the black earth. It is the yoke that constitutes the bone that which ultimate the bone, the both. In the same way, what constitutes an obstacle of mental culture is neither a sin origin nor a sin object, but cultivation or attachment. This relation is true of the relation between the two cognitive appearance on the other hand and the external sun object on the other. It is war otherwise than one who has to move out of the very possibility or the perspective of the moral life. More or less than same idea is reflected in any early Buddhist discourse where the Buddha questions a discipline or a contemporary religious teacher as to how his master teacher maintained caution. In reply, the latter say that destinies are to be trained to the extent that they appear to fulfill their respective function. They are the eye does not see from the ear does not hear sound, and so on. The Buddha rejoined that this kind of mental culture will lead to the conclusion that the blind and the dark has been best cultivated. The clear implication is that mental culture is not to be associated with the information or the sense. The sense should be cultivated to see this and they truly are. Water Hatu. Chapter 8. The Title or Moral Life. The Noble Eightfold Path. Reasoned by the Buddha as the Fourth Noble Truth, the Noble Eightfold Path lays the foundation for the title of the Buddhist moral life. Altogether, the Noble Eightfold Path consists of right view, Samma Deity, right motivation, Samma Sankappa, right speech, Samma Vasa, right action, Samma Kammanta, right livelihood, Samma Ajiva, right effort, Samma Vayama, right mindfulness, Samma Sati, and right concentration, Samma Samadhi. The path is called the middle way as it steers clear of the two extremes of self-modification and sensual indulgence. One misunderstanding about the path is that it is meant only for those who have renounced the lead life, not for the lead. The vast evidence that questions this misunderstanding comes from the Buddhist reflex to two paths. One is the wrong path, Mikkha Deity, and the other, the right path, Samma Deity. After defining the wrong path as the different, as the right opposite of the Noble Eightfold Path, the Buddha declared, Man, I do not uphold the wrong path either for layman or for man. That the Noble Eightfold Path is in turn not only for man, bhikkhu, and non-bhikkhuni, but also for layman, upasaka, and lay woman, upasika. Thus, the Noble Eightfold Path is meant for the laity as well as also shown by the difference given by the Buddha to right livelihood, Samma Ajiva, which is the fifth part of the path, is defined as abstaining from such me or livelihood as practicing in wisdom in human beings that traits, for example, in living beings, virtue and meat production, in poison and in intoxicant drinking, obviously pure not necessarily. It is the member of the lay society who follow these five traits as a means of livelihood. As yet, when right livelihood is defined as abstaining from these morally reprehensible traits, as definition is made by taking the lady into consideration. From the fact that it is said to be connected to three things, namely happiness in this life, later dharma, sukha, well-being in the life after, samprayika, hetu, hita, and the realization of nibbana, kamini, adipara. The all-embracing accessibility of the Noble Eightfold Path is clear. What this means is that the path can be followed at different levels or in varying degree or intensity. If one cannot follow it fully, one cannot follow it as far as possible. If the best situation is to realize the idea, then next best situation is to be neither the idea. We often see a that between practice and practice. This situation is not secret to religious alone, but is true of all other ideas or individual and social life. Yet just because there are varying degrees of difference between that idea and the practice, we do not propose to create the idea. The idea is the source of inspiration to do the right and the receipt from doing the wrong. The first pattern. As noted above, the Noble Eightfold Path being with right view right view as refined by the Buddha is to know wrong view as wrong view and right view as right view. It is the fortunate of the first Upanikama. Since it ensures proper detention to the other seven fata. In a generation, right view as the opposite of the wrong view means the recognition of religious and moral value as a proper basis for right living. In a moral sense, it means an initiate knowledge of the Four Noble Truths. For as a whole organization, but the Noble Eightfold Path ultimate purpose is the emancipation from all suffering. It right view provides the proper definition. The second first pattern, the all right intention is that my commitment to follow the path. It is that my intentional function. The prophecy or volitional aspect or moral acceptability. Right intention is all three kinds. One, intention or renunciation and intention or free from self-centered desire and ego are essential influence. Intention free from aversion and intention free from happiness. That is those who deviant and compassionate led. Such a wholesome intention constitutes the psychological foundation for behavior benevolence moral action. All actions that are socially harmful or from the social complex. Violence and oppression can ultimately be run to our ill intention. Actions are that external mindfulness of our thoughts modified by passion. Aversion and delusion or ban opposite in our mind. Intentional function has a profound impact on our social environment in his sense. Wider sense. Our speech, physical action, and livelihood concept the focus of the next three factors. Together, they respect the focus and physical manifestation of our right or wrong intention, which is turned on correct by our right or wrong view. It is at this level or at that level of focus and physical action that our progress, thoughts, and intention being to have a centered impact on our social environment for better our world. In the context of social ethics, it is these three factors that assume the greatest significance. Four aspects are taken into consideration by the Buddhist instruction on right speech. This first aspect of this right speech should be dissociated from all power or falsehood, miccha, vacha. Positively framed, this means devotion to truth that make one reliable and worthy of confidence. The second aspect is abstention from calumnies and slanderous speech, Sasana Era, which is intended to make humiliate and division among people. Its opposite is the speech that hates division and promotes amity, harmony, and friendship, Karuna. The third aspect is aversion from harsh speech, or from all absent, insults, and even sacrilege remarks constitute the marriage barricade and harsh speech. Its opposite is the speech that is blameless, pleasant to the ear, lovely, reaching to the heart, often pleasing and appearance to the people. For it rise Poorly rice feed me abstain from porridge and wheat thought. Tamal Hadbaka, which is defined as Ainto, Aintot, Chitras, and Ainte Chitra and Final thought, or lacking in purpose and depth. The fact its opposite is meaningful, purposeful, useful, and timeful, timely speed. Right speed requires us to refine from alternate even what is true it is lead to harmful consequences. Atana Sanka in alternate what is true one should take into consideration not only in potential effect but also the proper time for its ultimate terminal. The effect to all speed are as spirit or the effect or physical actions point them potential and consequences for good and bad are limitless. And the Buddhist inspiration or right speech enjoin us to exercise our capacity for power expression which great question and uh, compulsion always being what truths are our words. If right speech is relates to vocab, then next pattern that all right action is concerned with bodily act. Right action requires us to refrain from injury to life and from all violence, negatively understood. It is the laying aside of all courage and weapons and taking possibly the cultivation of love and compassion to all creatures that have life. Secondly, the decision on right action directs one to abstain from taking what is not given by others, all kinds of damage, robbery, parameters throughout force, climate, and discipline constantly by using force, ways, and measures are some of its many variations in it. Consideration in right action needs qualification or honestly and sincerity or heart at all levels of interpersonal relations. Thirdly, right action requires us to abstain from wrongful gratification or sense harassment throughout unacceptable sexual relations. Following immoral, acceptable means or livelihood as a necessary led to the fifth part factor. The podium mentioned five specific modes or livelihood that are to be avoided, namely trading and response in which human beings share traits or for example, living beings research and meat production, infusion and intoxicating drinking among other harmful means or livelihoods mentioned in the Buddhist text are beside the spoil. Sarmatian practice and suicide. In short, any occupation that involves harmful consequences to others is to be considered as morally reprehensible, although it could be mentally rewarding. At the left see further or the noble effort path, right further, right effort, right mindfulness and right concentration from all closely interrelated gurus innovatively in following the right moral training that they have as the visit the purification or focus and physical contact rose above binded the three immediately preceding further. Right effort requires putting from emergency to element and disposition and to prevent them from rising any. Along with the energies need to cultivate and then follows a wholesome disposition. This particular first pattern brings into focus the indisposability or right efforts and dilation, extension, and amplification, previation or the peaceful party or the mente culture. The seven pattern that or right mindfulness is presence or mind attentively autonomous or awareness. It plays the role and was mature within over and guiding all mental activity. For purpose or civilian and mental activity, it is necessary that the mind remain in the present without getting elaborating, editing, and interpreting throughout that right. The ultimate amount to right mindfulness is to give proper moral direction to all pollution as well as to all their mental, focus and physical manifestation. The last but the right concentration is to be realized by unifying the usually different mind. Right concentration is the clean and compound state of mind, thus concentrating out the mental activity rightly and evenly. Right concentration is the indispensable prerequisite for wisdom and insight into the nature of activity, for it is only a properly concentrated mind that can see them as they actually are. There is a general survey of the eight fata or the Noble Eightfold Path. It may be noted that the eight fata are not linked the steps or 11 that we normally follow in sequence. 11 which step does we sometimes bypass for purpose or experiencing one. On the other hand, the first fata should be followed more or less together. However, at the beginning, some sequence is necessary ultimate until the fata begin to support each other. We should also understand the metaphor of this, but it is proper context. Any other part we can leave behind when we have reached the destination. Not so that no A4 files for the 8 first pattern are in first 8 moral qualities that are to be cultivated, developed, evolved, and internalized. When the 8 pattern are fully developed and brought to perfection, they have to gain through other pattern, right knowledge, sama jnana, and right investigation, sama vimoti, sama vimoti. They are the 10 skillful qualities, kusala dhamma, the one who is 80 and morally perfect. Adharma is said to be endowed with accordingly the higher level of moral perfection, consented to a great extent with the very fact that lead toward it. The psychological foundation of the practice of morality. The Buddha's screen on moral practice can also be understood with reference to the three aspects of moral discipline: sila, concentration, samadhi, and wisdom, jnana. These three aspects are mutually dependent and gradually progress toward a higher ideal. These are a clear preset psychological theory behind this threefold schedule of moral culture. According to this theory, all our moral evil exists and activate at three distinct levels. The first level is called literacy anusaya. It is the level at which moral evil remains dominant and is latent in their form of inner disposition and proclivity. We are not aware to these psychological proclivities at ultimate manifest themselves as acid, feeling, and emotion. The second list is called rising or wrong, Patiyotana. It is the level where what remained earlier as latent proclaimed are now fully aware. The working is what we expression in as the mind, current, acid feeling, or negative emotion. The third level is called going beyond. We take command. It is the state when our emotion and it is the excellent, excited feeling internalized in the front focus and physical action. Suddenly, it is the third level called going beyond, wherein our moral effort begin to have and direct and constant effect on others. All kinds of effort commits vocally and physically. Lions tolerate that this them very sexual misconduct, violation and interpersonal conflict. At odds, churches and internet wherefore to name but as few are all instant or moral evils manifesting at this third level. On the other hand, whatever determines in fact the other two levels may have its habit to ourselves. Therefore, the three level whether moral evils activity, the third level is the more dangerous. Nonetheless, of the three levels, the third is also the easiest to bring under control. However, this may not appear to be so. Yet, later reflection on this situation should congratulate us that it is really that because we all know by experience that it's easier to refrain from act or violence, but much more difficult to prevent throughout that violence from within at. That same situation is true of many other kinds of moral evils, such as sexual, sexual misconduct, fraud, and falsehood. Temptation is much more difficult to control than its external expression. It's not focused to that external factors such as public opinion, social competition, and law of that country, such as the restraining factor here. Nevertheless, the first remains that at all transgressions due to temptation are more easily to avoid than throughout the temptation themselves. So although the third level is the more dangerous, it is the easier to control. The Buddha, again, or moral cultivation, this begins at this third level. When moral evil is internalized more function, controlling the level is assigned to moral discipline pillar, which is listed as the first in the threefold moral training. Sin or moral evil at the third level is expressed instead either vocally or physically. Moral discipline is defined as moral discipline in speech and body. One that is fully accomplished, the next is to control moral evils at the second level. When it is arising all around, this state is assigned to concentration samadhi, which is listed as the second step in the threefold skill of moral training. Concentration is one final need or mind or moral or compose. It is the unification of the mind that usually remains refreshing as unified mind is equally more powerful than a differentiated mind. However, the function of concentration is only to stay the mind and bring it under our conscious control. It cannot remove the root of moral evil that remains as latent tendency, embraced in the repressed respect of our mind. The responsibility of uprooting moral evils at this level is assigned to wisdom Penya, which is the third of threefold moral training. Wisdom is insight. It is the mind's ability to see prominent and even at the actuality are Yatha Buddha Jnana. It is by wisdom that moral evil is described as its very rule, which the head or cognitive faculty referred by wisdom. One can observe and identify the root of all moral evils lying dormant in the rich within of one's own mind. This observation takes place as bare awareness, without awakening, without allowing our mind to edit or interpret what can to be observed. For it is only then that bare awareness is able to uproot all rules or moral evils without leaving any remnant. For Buddhism, the practice of the moral life is a gradual discipline, Anubhava Saika, the graduate course or contest, Anubhava Sadiya, and the graduate moral or progress, Anubhava Data. The practice involves that transformation from all lower to higher level. It had a beginning to interpret state and circumstance the threefold seeing or moral training shows that the way to moral perfection is gradual leading to systematically from one step to the next. The moral discipline paves the way to concentration. Concentration is in turn paves the way to wisdom. The principle behind this progressive system is that it's only by past disciplining one focus and physical that one can develop right concentration, while it's only by developing right concentration that one can realize wisdom, that is the mind ability to see really as it is. Why Buddhism morally being with the observance of the five precepts, a chart pillar, become clear when one picture is mind the threefold training or moral training. The five precepts refer to abstaining from depraving or living being or is that refraining from taking which is not given by Allah, theft, robbery, etc. Sexual misconduct or illicit sexual relation, elegant sexual relation, false speech and taking intoxicant weakness which enforce or relaxes and invalidate. These are five moral transgressions at the going beyond level that has the most dominant impact on the social environment. It is observed that the five transgressions do not represent all moral violations at the third level, so as they constitute five of the most dangerous. Abstaining from dance is considered at the very beginning of the moral guideline. Moral guideline. In order to prevent moral events significant at the lead of transgression, as focus and physical act, Buddhism provides us with a thorough moral guideline. Thus, the purpose is to help to make the right moral decision and to refrain from moral transgression. One such moral guideline is called self-compassion. Atu Papa. Self-compassion involves us to put ourselves in another person's position and to refrain from investigation on other what we do know, which influence one or us. This moral guideline finds expression in the Dhamma, the Buddha's ontology or ethical path. As the following for all temple and punishment or fear that comparing oneself to the other, let one refrain from killing others, let one refrain from harming others. That same idea of moral clergy expressed in the following quoting questioning from all early Buddhist discourse. Yet, in noble discipline reflects this. I like to live, I do not like to die. I desire happiness and dislike unhappiness. Both some should kill me. Since I like to live and do not like to die. I ought not be pleasing and delightful to me. Both I too to kill others who likes to live and does not like to die. Who desires happiness and does not desire unhappiness. It ought not be pleasing and delightful to the other person either. How could I if it others that which is not pleasant and delightful for me? Having reflected in this manner, he on how his own refraining from killing and speak in silence or refraining from killing. Have this question demonstrate this moral guideline or self-compassion also blind that's why refraining from killing and from other moral evil. One may also discuss other from committing the same evils. That question shall implies that the Buddhist perspective leading to abstaining from violence towards any living being is based on the Buddhist observation that all living beings seek happiness and rejoice from suffering. Another guideline for moral reasoning is the one based on what is called the threefold authority adipatiya. Reasoning based on the threefold authority require us to estimate the possible consequences of what we intend to do from the different position of view. The first point of view is called self-authority. Adipatiya. It's enjoying to examine whether what we intend to do will result in self-balance or rebellion, whether our own self or on what we have done atta the atana vaditi. That's what is called self-authority is because of allowing ourselves to be controlled by ourselves. Public authority, locativia, is the second point of view. It requires us to examine whether what we are going to do, what we concern, particularly by the illustrate people in the society. What is called public authority is that because of allowing ourselves to be controlled by public opinion. The broader idea of public opinion does not exactly correspond to how we understand it today. That is as the opinion of the majority. For Buddhists, what matters is neither the opinion of majority nor the opinion of minority, but the opinion of those who really know, the wise people in the society, the people who are knowledgeable, vijnana parishita. This is the hierarchy that Buddhists in the Buddhists all like to ask concern when we are composed with others. What is morally approved is therefore refers to as perceived by the wise, and what is morally represented as the concern by the wise when Gadahida. The third guideline for correct moral responding is called Dhamma authority. Dhamma Divya is required